The code that sent humans to the moon hides not only amazing Easter eggs and funny jokes, but also a story about human willpower. To understand this technology, we're going to embark on an adventure on board of the mighty Saturn V.
Go. Capcom, we're go for undocking. Capcom, we're go for landing. Altitude 4200 here, go for landing, over. Okay, engine stop.
Margaret Hamilton was not only the lead software engineer of the Apollo program that first sent humans to the moon, but she was also the person who first coined the term software engineer. She has published more than 130 papers and even received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Margaret paused her studies in mathematics to start working as a programmer while her husband was studying at Harvard Law School. She applied and was selected to work for NASA as the first programmer for the Apollo program and usually had to work with her daughter in the facilities. One day, her daughter activated by mistake a program in the Apollo computer that was supposed to be run on a different stage. That error made her want to design her programs protected against human errors, but we will talk about that later. During takeoff, the launch vehicle digital computer provided the autopilot for the mighty Saturn V rocket to launch into Earth's orbit. This computer, millions of times slower than modern computers, ran processes for vehicle guidance and attitude control. The only remaining copies of this software are probably in the core memory of the Saturn V rockets on display at NASA sites. Now let's understand what happens after takeoff. We could think intuitively that the best way of launching a rocket to the moon is to point it directly to it in a straight course. Scientists discovered a while ago that the best strategy to travel in space using the least propellant possible is instead doing an orbital spaceflight. The spaceship needs to circle the Earth 1.5 times and then do a Hohmann transfer to move to a new orbit that will make it intercept the moon. Here's where the Apollo guidance computer was the protagonist, correcting the orientation and acceleration of the spacecraft. On Earth's surface, it's easy to know where is up and down, north and south, but in space, we need extra references to know where are we going. A common task for the astronauts was to point to a star to calibrate the gyroscopes connected to the computer. To operate the computer, the astronauts used the keyboard to enter a verb and a noun, as you can see in the image. A simple example could be, point to start 27898, where point is the verb and the start number is the noun. By doing this, the computer could have a reference to continue the guidance. The programmers dedicated one of the Easter eggs in the code to this with a quote from Shakespeare. "It will be proved to thy face that thou hast men about thee, that usually talk of a noun and a verb, and such abominable words as no Christian ear can endure to hear." The most famous story behind the Apollo guidance computer is about what happened when the astronauts were about to touch the moon. Remember that Margaret designed the program to be resistant to human errors? Seconds before the landing, one of the astronauts put a switch in the wrong position, which made one of the sensors send a huge number of errors to the computer, overloading it. The program was designed to prioritize the most important tasks, so it ignored the errors and focused on the landing, saving the astronauts' lives. Burn Baby Burn is the name of one of the most famous routines of the AGC program. It is the master ignition routine for the lunar module. The name is the engineer's own tribute to the people of the Los Angeles riots. The lines of code of the routine are not easily recognizable for modern developers because it's assembly, a much lower level language than the ones we use today. The routine starts with hello there in the comments and ends with goodbye, come again soon. The jokes in the code did not replace the seriousness and importance of the situation. The 3 astronauts returned safely to Earth, and we all enjoyed one of the greatest milestones in our history. My take on this story is probably not obvious. Modern software engineers are focused on writing boring JIRA tickets to change the color of a button or write a dull microservice. I invite you to challenge your reality and work on things that matter to you, things for the betterment of humanity, even in your free time. It won't only give you a better curriculum and experience, but you could also be helping a lot of people. The people who founded our engineering were doing a lot of cool things, and we should be doing the same to honor humanity.